This is the Bay and Tepe Perspective. I'm Brian Bay.
And I'm Greg Tepe. Welcome to our podcast.
And this week's perspective is on desert island TV shows.
Right. So basically, it's obviously not shows about desert island, but if you had one show to watch, say if you're on a desert island, or one show to watch the rest of your life, what show would that be?
Yes. And I'm going to go quickly. Our kind of definition of show, we use Wikipedia's definition. It says a TV show is any content produced for viewing on a television set which can be broadcast via over-the-air satellite cable, excluding breaking news, ads, or trailers.
Well, I can't watch that breaking news story I want to watch the rest of my life. Dang it.
Nope. Not next on.
Yeah.
But I just want to clarify that for anyone else to play along.
Right.
We don't have a lot of caveats to this, but I just want to...
Just lay down the ground rules.
Yeah, just in case there was any questions or anything like that.
I mean, you got to think this is the only TV show you can watch the rest of your life.
Yes, the rest of your life.
Which is tough because before we get into it, there's a lot of TV shows I like, but they're like different genres.
Yes. Yes. So mine too. Mine too with genres. So I had a hefty list.
Right.
That I guess I could go over real quick just as people. I got it down to like 14. And I'll kind of just go over for the folks.
Okay.
All right. So in no certain order, I have the Wire, Family Guy, Cheers, NCIS, Criminal Minds, Bonanza, King of the Hill, Sports Center, The Simpsons, Law and Order SVU, Gunsmoke, The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and The Office.
Okay. You want me to run through some of mine real quick?
Yeah, you want to do your quick list?
Yeah, a lot of them, there's a lot that are common, like The Office, Breaking Bad, The Wire, The Sopranos. I also have that 70s show.
Oh.
Seinfeld is on there, but it's on the peripheral, so I'll kind of give that away already, but it's on there. Sons of Anarchy, The Walking Dead, Parks and Recreation.
Now, I will say with those most three you just said, I haven't seen any of them.
Right.
So.
And Game of Thrones.
Oh, and I haven't seen
Sorry,
that as well.
I forgot about that one.
So those four I haven't seen. Only one on my list I have not seen at all is Gunsmoke. And I'll explain later why that made the list even though I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
Because I kind of had a plan, if you will, I guess. A game plan.
Right.
You should say. I guess would you like me to tell you my game plan, I guess?
Sure, might as well.
So my game plan originally, well, obviously I start off with just shows I like. I'm just listing them off, writing them down.
Right.
You know, like normal, like 70 show I missed, but like Office, Breaking Bad, The Wire, Family Guy, just Cheers. You know, things that I thoroughly enjoy.
Right.
And I started thinking about those. I was like, man, and it kind of like when I was debating it, I had like Family Guy and Simpsons were my examples.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, Family Guy I like better than The Simpsons. But then it dawned on me, I was like, I wonder how long they've been on. So I looked up, so I Google searched like seasons.
Yeah.
Then episodes. So my list here has how many seasons and how many episodes of all this. Now I do have one question to bring up real quick.
Okay.
I forgot, which could be our other caveat, if you will. And this, I have my opinion on it, so I just want to hear your opinion. I have 5 active shows. My assumption, now correct me, if you want to be different, that's fine, we can talk about that. My assumption is once you hit said desert island, for example, say you're on the desert island,
right?
Say tomorrow morning I'm on the desert island, I can watch no new shows.
Okay.
Say, like, so Family Guy, for example, is an active show.
Right.
Once I hit the desert island, it's only what has been pre-recorded, because in my head, now it's getting a little too into being real, but like in my head, maybe I have a device that they're saved to.
Yeah.
And I don't have access to live TV or new TV.
Right.
Now, my thing would be like, that'd be fair because I think my choice would be skewed if it's still active. Well, that means it could go on for another 20 years and I wouldn't get bored with it.
Yeah.
As much.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point because I thought of the length of the series, but I did not think of ones that were still going on if you would get the new shows or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like my first interpretation was that if you say that show, you get it in its entirety.
Yeah.
But if we're doing the literal, you're on the desert island, you know, you don't have access. If you have access to new shows, you probably have access to get saved. So in the desert island theme, I would say whatever has been already recorded, you have on some, like you said, some random device.
Yeah.
That's all you have. So the cutoff point is now. Now, my one caveat is usually for shows to make my list, they're usually in completion. They're completely done.
Yes.
Now, I did name some that aren't, but the majority of my favorite shows, they're done. And part of the reason they make my list is, as we'll get into later, when I start narrowing down my shows, is the arc of the show, the story.
Yes.
That's important to me.
Yes. See, what was most important to me originally was how much I liked the show. So I was almost trying to guess what my favorite show was, which became really hard because of different categories.
Yep.
But what helped me get away from that was the length of time. And then I started thinking, actually, I got literal, as I do a lot, you know. So I thought, what if I'm literally on a desert island? I don't want a show that had 5 seasons, and I've got to watch that a million times. And the reason I say that is because, like, for example, The Office I've watched a lot, love the show. But, man, I can almost tell you the damn show.
Oh, yeah.
Episode from episode. Now I'm like, 30 years of that, what if I stay alive on said desert island?
Right.
You know, I start overthinking, but like, you know, basically I'm thinking like one show I got to watch for like, say my lifespan, whether it's a desert island or wherever.
Yeah.
But say I have one show is 30 years. For the next 30 years, basically, of my life, say I might live for more than that, less than that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a lot. And I'd like to have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm not allowed to watch the new episodes, if it isn't active.
Right.
And the only reason I went with active at all is just because, like, some of those made my finalists.
Yeah.
So once I got done to my final, like, few, I was like, well, one of these is active, and I don't want to cheat. It was hard in my own head to debate it. I'm like, I'm like, well, it's a finalist, but this one gives it the edge because if I get the new episodes, then I won't be as bored.
Yeah, because you're going to continue getting new stuff.
Yeah, I get new content all the time, so I didn't want to cheat the system.
Especially with something like The Simpsons. Not saying that it is, but like The Simpsons has, 30 seasons or something?
Yeah.
And they're still new. So you could potentially look at like a 40, 50
Yeah, I'll never get bored.
Right.
So that's why I think we should cut it off at whenever you end up on the desert island.
Right.
Personally. Do you agree to that, or?
I do. I just didn't think of it that way.
Didn't think about it that way. And I thought about bringing that up to you before off air, but that kind of went with what my game plan was, so I didn't want to like tell you my game plan before we aired, I guess.
And I will say, luckily for me, it doesn't really affect me because most of my finalists I can think of, at least, they're all finished. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just go with stopping it.
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Because it's basically like...
As long as it doesn't affect your list.
Yeah, it does not affect my list.
We'll go with that then. So you stop when you end up on the island.
Right.
All right, cool.
Now, the next question, so this is no stipulation or rules, just us trying to think, at least for me, and you hit on it, is category. Like, what am I in the mood to watch for the rest of my life?
Correct.
You know, something that's funny, something that's serious.
Intense. Yeah.
Something that is...
A little of both.
No thinking.
Yeah.
And then there's certain characters you like in certain shows. Is that someone you could continue to enjoy whatever they're going through or laugh with them, or are the jokes something that you can keep laughing at? Or like some shows I watch and the first few times it's funny and then it's like, meh.
Yeah.
There's other shows that I still laugh. Like say like The Office or that 70s show to me.
The jokes
or Seinfeld.
never die.
I was like, oh, this is still funny to me. Or Cheers.
Yeah.
The
jokes never die.
Right. So like, but I mean, that's also, I'm sure in 30 years, I think in general, no matter what show you pick, 30 years, it's like,
it's a long time to watch one show.
Right.
You know, you might stop watching it.
Right.
You might have a tenure in the middle of not watching it.
Yeah, like I'm going to take a break from all this.
Yeah, I don't want to watch TV anymore.
But this is I think, also an indirect way to almost picking a favorite show, but with strategy. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So I'll scratch some off my list.
Okay.
So right off jump, I'll get rid of Bonanza. I like that show. I really do.
Right.
And it had 14 seasons, 431 episodes. So that's why it made the initial list.
Right.
Gunsmoke was on there specifically because of the 635 episodes.
Right.
And 20 seasons. Because I was like, well, I won't get bored with that. My only thing is I've never seen not one episode that I can think of.
What if you hate it?
What if I hate it? So that's why that one's off the list.
That would suck, by the way. That'd be my luck. You'd be like, I'm going to try to be smart, get something that has a ton of episodes I've never seen, so it'll be new, at least for a while.
Yeah.
And then you get to, like, episode 3, and you're like, I can't
dumb.
stand this.
Yeah. And that's why I left off some of the classics that I still want to see, like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And some other the ones you said, Walking Dead, stuff like that I would like to see one day. But I'm like, I haven't seen it, and what if I don't like it or it doesn't live up to hype for me?
That's the other thing, by the way, living up to the hype.
Yeah.
Like, some of the newer shows especially, there's so much hype behind a lot of these shows that when I watch some of them, I'm like, it's all right.
But, yeah, it's not as, what it's cracked up to be type thing.
Right.
So, but, man, the more I thought about it, man, I was like, there's all kinds of categories that I didn't even think, like documentaries.
I didn't
even delve into that. And then, like, one of them that's on my list is Sports Center. That's sports episode. That's a show, but it's a sports show.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm like, oh, nice loophole.
It's some creative shit. That's what I'm saying. It's a loophole.
But if you're falling on the desert island and you cut off any new episodes.
Any new ones, so I don't get to know what's going on in real life.
So you'll still see, like, oh, Deion Sanders just picked off someone in the NFL.
I'm still watching 95 or whatever.
But still, it's still a variety.
It's a variety.
It's almost like ESPN Classic.
But, all right, so I knocked those 2 off the list for me. I'm going to try to get this down to like 4 or 5, I guess.
Okay.
Let's see. So, Breaking Bad, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to take it off, but it's 5 seasons.
Yeah.
62 episodes. It's got to go.
It's still on my list.
Still on yours?
Yes.
So it's got to go for me. That's too much. King of the Hill was on there. I just compare that to the same category as The Simpsons and Family Guy.
Right.
And I didn't like it as much as either one of those.
Me neither.
And it has less episodes, so there's several reasons if I'm going with my game plan.
Do you have any episodes? Just out of curiosity.
259 over 13 seasons.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was on that long.
It's supposed to be coming back, actually.
Oh, okay. They're doing the old Family Guy trick.
Yep, they're bringing it back. Because Twitter is blowing up with, like, bring back King of the Hill.
Hey, that's how you do it these days.
And I'm all about it. I'm going to watch it for sure.
Yeah, it might make me get back into the old ones and then into the new ones.
Damn it, Bobby.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Jesus. That's hilarious. Okay, so then I can break it down to my kind of cop shows that I'm into.
Okay.
I got Criminal Minds, NCIS, which is copish / Navy, Law and Order SVU. And, I mean, I guess you could throw The Wire in there, but I don't consider that one of those cop shows.
Me neither.
So
it's
I'm
like
going to leave that. That's
types of cop
that's
shows.
a different kind. So really, for my next category, I'll be knocking off a couple of those. So out of those 3, and this isn't necessarily because they're my favorites, but Criminal Minds I've seen, but not all the way through.
Right.
So that kind of keeps me intrigued. It's not active, so it's at least in completion, so I'll get to know the ending.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Which intrigues me. So I think out of those, NCIS is going to go. Even though I think I like that one the most out of all those 3.
Okay.
And I haven't, and that's still active. So that's part of the reason that's going.
Yeah, you'll never see how it ends.
Yeah, I never see how it ends, so it'll drive me insane.
Yeah.
And it might be one that doesn't end for like ever, because like SVU's been going on for like, and it's just changing. It's ever changing.
Yeah.
It's almost like the soap operas back that my mom at least watched back in the 90s that like they finally are gone now, most of them.
Right. But there's like, still some I noticed.
There's still some.
Like,
I mean,
wow.
it lasted for 30 years, plus years, 40 years, 50 years, some of them.
Like General Hospital or something?
Yeah, All My Children, Guiding Light, all those. So kind of in that like category of like these things might last for to where you're not even really going to see an ending per se.
They're kind of like the new soap opera though. It's basically what you're saying. Like
some of the main characters are gone.
Right. They
have new
revolving door.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like a way for you almost get a start in TV anymore.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I got my spot. Shoot me off to a movie or my own show.
Or you'll have your lifers like what's her name? Is it Susan Lucci? I think was in one of them or some shit. Mm-hmm. That lady that was finally won a daytime Emmy. I think she was.
Yeah,
I don't know. There was a whole thing. I don't know how I know that information.
I'm trusting you on that more.
Don't want to ask me how I know this information, but I do.
Tweet him.
Yeah, but so NCIS is gone. Where are we at now? So I'll recap my list, and then you can recap yours. Cut a couple off maybe.
Right.
So now I'm left at. The Simpsons, Law and Order SVU, Sopranos, The Office, The Wire, Family Guy, Cheers, Criminal Minds, and Sports Center.
Okay.
So I cut off, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm down to 9.
Yeah. You still got some cutting to do.
Still got some cutting. How many are you at right now?
So I'm still with The Wire, The Sopranos, The Office, Breaking Bad, and I'll go with Game of Thrones.
Okay, so you have 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with those 5.
Okay.
The ones I cut, not that I have to explain myself, but they're still some of my favorites. It's just some of them aren't over. Some, like, it's almost like, do I want to, like, part of me is thinking, like, I can watch sitcoms over and over and over. I've done that my whole life. Like, for a while there was that 70s Show all the time. Then it was King of Queens or Home Improvement.
Yeah. Which King of Queens didn't make my list. That's one of my favorite all time.
Yeah, me neither. I just thought of it now.
My game plan cut a lot of my shows out.
Yeah. Yeah, I say so, though. Basically, I mean, your game plan, part of it I thought of, some of it, not all of it. But I'm sticking with more like my heart.
Your heart.
Yeah, so just so I can remember myself, I said The Wire, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, The Office.
Yeah.
And you may notice, too, half of them are HBO shows, more than half, 3 of them.
Yeah.
HBO makes good stuff.
No, I'm with you on HBO.
You forgot Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. Oh, yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah, it is. HBO.
But, I need to watch more HBO shows, actually.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'll cut mine again a little more. Let's see here. We got Simpsons, Law and Order, Sopranos. All right, well, I'll tell you right now, Sopranos is getting cut.
Okay.
Love the show.
Right.
86 episodes.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a decent amount of episodes from what I remembered.
Which isn't bad, and they're longer, so that's an aspect I didn't get too deep into, like the hour shows, quote unquote, versus the half an hour shows.
Yeah.
Even though the half an hour shows are 20 minutes and hours or 45 or what you get what I'm saying, though. The premise behind an hour versus a half an hour type show.
Yeah, basically double.
Yeah.
On average.
Yeah. And Sopranos was more legitimately closer to an hour because HBO never had commercials.
Bingo. Yep.
So that is legit, but I just don't. I love the show. I just don't see if I could watch that one the rest of my life.
I mean, do you mind if I hop in?
No, go.
I'm with you. I love the show, and I love mafia type stuff.
Yeah.
I've only watched that show once.
Yeah.
It's still it's still very high on my list, and I would like to watch it again someday. But it's not. It's not going to make the cut.
Yeah. Yep. It's just not one I keep diving into.
Right. All
right, so I cut that. I'm gonna try to get down to 5 like you.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm at 8. Elite 8. The Elite 8. So I'll go ahead and say I'm gonna cut The Wire off.
Okay.
Again, love it. Almost too intense for me for my only show.
True.
60 episodes. So it's kind of that Breaking Bad scenario. Really probably should have been cut before Breaking Bad. This isn't like cutting in order.
Yeah.
There's no real order to this. I'm just kind of going as I go. Same
processing
thing.
it.
Just processing it, yeah. So that one's got to go. All right, so we'll cut either Criminal Minds or SVU because they're similar. That's a hard one because I like them both. But I'm going to lean. I'll give SVU the nod because they have 489 episodes.
Okay.
Versus 324.
Okay.
Though it's still active. But I feel like that's one of them ones that you'll... Like, at some point, I'd want to see the ending. But I just think it's such a continuous. Plus, those are the shows that I can hop around on a little more.
Right.
Well, Criminal Minds, you could, but there was more of a storyline to it.
Okay.
From what I remember. Like, it was just more... You want to watch that a little more in order. Where SVU, I could cut on season 6, episode 32 right now, and it wouldn't...
It'd be fine.
It'd be fine, yeah.
Okay.
There's storyline to it, but the main premise of the show is to be able to watch it whenever you want.
Gotcha.
Without a storyline really killing you.
It's almost like a sitcom, even though like sitcoms kind of have a story going.
Kind of like The Office. Like The Office had a storyline, but you could...
Right.
After watching it through at least.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so kind of more probably King of Queens. Where King of Queens has a storyline, but... You can easily watch.
Yeah, that's probably an easier one even because of what you just hop in and it's whatever Doug's up to that day. Arthur's boycotting something.
Yeah.
Same with
the characters pretty much stay the same.
Right.
So it's not like they're writing somebody out where you're,
Yeah.
Or even if they do, you don't necessarily miss them.
Right.
So yeah.
That makes sense.
So he's got more Doug and Arthur shenanery with some of his pals.
King of Queens did not make our list, man.
For some reason, dude.
Yeah, I can keep watching that.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah. I'm actually
Anywho.
starting to rewatch it now, so maybe I need to reconsider that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a follow-up to this sometime, this episode.
So now I'm down to what? 1, 2, 3, I'm down to 5.
Are you?
Yep.
You want to recap your 5?
No, I'm at 6. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. So one more to cut. I'll say that's Family Guy versus Simpsons because the categories.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to keep the Simpsons just for my game plan.
Longevity.
Because I do like Family Guy more, but not enough more than the Simpsons. For the fact that Simpsons have 703 episodes.
That's still wild, by the way.
Wild.
It's been on basically our whole lives. And remember, wasn't it like almost a year ago where you started it and I started doing it, but it didn't last long at all, that we were going to try to watch all the Simpsons episodes on Disney Plus?
Oh, yeah. Man, I didn't get very far at all.
Me neither.
And I think a lot of that's because it's one of them shows you can spot watch.
Oh, big time.
You don't need the storyline, so it's hard to watch it from season 1 on because you're not really going to miss anything.
Well, then obviously season 1's so crude, too. Like, it's so rough on the edges. They are still trying to find their animation.
Yeah, and the animations, yeah.
I mean, some of the I didn't realize how many classics were in season 1.
Yeah, but yeah.
I just didn't catch me. I think I'm also in that point in my life where right now it's like I'm exploring other type, like the HBO stuff, if you will.
Yeah. It's not like we have streaming now, so it's all over the place. It's not like, well, I'm bored with all my box sets. So I guess I'll start watching The Simpsons over again.
Yes. Very good point.
So, all right, now I'm down to 5. So I'll recap. I have The Simpsons, Law & Order SVU, The Office, Cheers, and Sports Center.
Okay. And I'll recap mine. We have one common one, The Office.
Okay.
Then I have Breaking Bad, The Wire, The Sopranos, and Game of Thrones.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yours are a little more intense than mine.
I know. I realized that. And I feel like back in the day, mine have been more probably flipped even. I don't know. Maybe we both be less intense, but back in the day, I was obsessed with comedies and lighthearted stuff. I mean, even Chappelle's Show could have made my list.
I didn't even think about Chappelle's Show, but it's
3
seasons, 3 seasons.
It's 2 full ones with him, and the third one's where they kind of recycle some of his stuff because he's like, no, I'm done.
I'm out. All right, so you want to cut now since I've been cutting left and right here?
Sure. So since we're each down to 5,
let's get it down to final 4.
I was going to say just cut one and then explain.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess technically I already did cut one.
Sopranos. I was thinking that. So.
But I'll explain some more. Like, The Sopranos is an excellent show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. The storyline's very unique, where obviously it follows a mob boss, but also from the perspective of him talking to his psychiatrist or therapist, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
And balancing being a family man.
Yep. And then in the mob life, there's plenty of... It's a very rounded show, I should say.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm also big into mob stuff. But like mob movies, which are very long movies, and I enjoy that, I have to be in the right mood. So I can't see myself watching The Sopranos over and over and over and over. I mean, it's taken me a few years to even think about rewatching it to begin with, where other shows, I'm like, start over.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
That's my first cut of the final 5.
Okay, so my first cut of the final 5 is... All right, hold on. Let me look.
All right.
So I'll explain what my thoughts are in my head because I haven't cut this yet.
Okay.
This is the furthest I've gotten on my cutting list. I have my winner.
Yeah, I have my winner,
I know my winner, but I didn't get it down to like a championship game like you did.
Right.
So, between Cheers and The Office.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go, man. I'm cutting The Office.
Okay.
I love it, but Cheers, man, that's a me thing. That's a classic. And if I have to give any technical reasons, 2 more seasons and 74 more episodes.
Okay.
At 275 versus 201, I had 2 more seasons.
Now, I knew Cheers was going to be on your list.
Yeah.
When I see Cheers, I used to think about my dad because he watched it when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah?
Now, I'm like, there's Brian's show, which is a great show, and I plan on going back to watch it now I'm an adult, but it's not on my list like it is you.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoy the show. It's
right.
For me, I think it's the camaraderie of the show. It gives me that feel good, if you will.
No, I get it. It's kind of like the Office feel from I like the cast. They did an excellent job casting. Yeah. And you almost feel like you're part of that show.
Yeah, you're part of the group. You're part of, I
mean, that's why I like that 70s show. But that 70s show didn't make it as far because actors start leaving the show.
Yes.
So
Yep.
the last couple of seasons kind of like, all right, you're out because, you know, like Eric left. And like, I mean, it's Eric. He's the main.
Now, saying Cheers, 2 main characters left the show. One, because he passed in real life.
Right.
During the show. And the other, I don't know the reason behind it. But they segued her out and brought in someone else.
Okay.
Not to ruin it for anyone, but there was, you know, one of the characters that was the main ones in the early episodes segued out.
Interesting.
So
it kind of reminds me, random fact, but for some reason I decided to read up on Night Court the other night.
Oh, man.
The other night.
Oh, you know who I follow on TikTok?
Who?
The lady guard.
Oh, yeah.
The lady guard.
I can't think of her name, but I can picture her.
She is flipping hilarious, dude. Her TikTok makes me cry laughing.
Well, apparently, speaking of her, I think it was her role. The original person that played like her job position died. Then they replaced her. She died, and then I think it was that position. But I found out like basically I was bored one night, and I was which I'm surprised I didn't add any more '80s shows to this list. But I think it's because it was in the '80s where I'm so stuck on now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm gonna read about Night Court. But anyways, it's the same thing. Like that's a random show for especially your young listeners. But like back to Cheers, that's a classic. Or Seinfeld. People are like the group.
Well, for me, with the 80s, I can touch on as I looked into them, and I settled on like Cheers as being my representation, if you will.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are shorter seasons than you would think.
Which is weird because I feel like they were so long back then.
Yeah, and then the shows were all like half-an-hour shows.
Right.
So like 20 minutes in real life.
Right.
So it was just, I think, viewing-wise, you know, and I didn't want to get caught up in the nostalgia too much either. A lot of times it's nostalgic, but they're also kind of cheesy.
Well, that's why the Cosby Show almost made my list.
Oh, I didn't think about Cosby at all.
Obviously,
man. Yeah.
take away the whole.
Yeah, the whole incident.
But I love the Cosby Show
itself. Yeah,
love that show.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I didn't think about. Yeah,
and honestly, I could probably watch that for quite a few years on the desert island, but it just didn't make it.
But no, we can have some honorable mentions here at the end.
Yeah, or random thinking, I guess you will.
Random thoughts. Yeah.
So we're down to 4 each.
Final 4.
All right.
So my final 4 to recap is SportsCenter, Cheers, Law and Order SVU, and The Simpsons.
Okay. And mine is The Office, Breaking Bad, The Wire, and Game of Thrones.
Okay. Which one though? So the Game of Thrones is the one I haven't seen.
Right.
In that group. I wish I want to.
Yeah, I recommend it.
I want to. So, all right, is it my turn to cut one first then?
Sure.
So I'm going to go Law and Order SVU's got to go.
Okay.
I just don't know if I need that much rape. If you will. Not to laugh at that, but I said that's, you know, I don't need much of that type of negativity when I'm already stuck on an island.
I don't think you're laughing at the crime itself, but the fact that show is obsessed with that particular crime.
Because it's special victims. So, I mean, it's all that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, abductions of children, all that super serious stuff.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing to watch from time to time, but
that might
for that to be
mess
my
with your head.
only show, yeah. Your head's already going to be messed with on a desert island. Or even if it's not desert island, even if it's just regular life and you got to watch one show.
Yeah, anywhere that, I mean.
That's just a lot of one type of show like that, so I had to get the intensity.
Yeah.
I can't have that intensity around me as much.
No, I understand that.
For that many years, for the next 30 years.
I definitely understand that.
So that's my reason there that one's gone. What's your next cut?
My next cut is Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Which, of course, you just mentioned. And I don't want. I still say you need to watch it.
I do.
My issue is, and those that have watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's something to do with the ending?
Yes.
Yeah, or the final season or something?
The final season was rushed, if we felt like. It was only seven episodes, and from what I've heard, HBO said, we'll give you a full 10 or 2 more seasons, even if you want to do. So, like, a full last season of 10 episodes or 2 more seasons to wrap up the story. So here's the issue. So Game of Thrones is based off a set of books.
Yes.
The books, when the TV show was made, and they're still not completed, but they had material to kind of feed off of. And they took their time with the story, developing characters. Excellent stuff. Again, recommend it. I think you'll definitely love it. Once the show caught up to where the books were.
And the TV people had to take over.
Yes. And they kind of, like, stuff was rushed all of a sudden, storylines, and this random stuff started happening. And then everyone feels like we kind of got cheated out the last season.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Again, third time I'll say it. Watch it. Still.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
It's just that's the reason why, like I told you at the beginning of the podcast, one of the important factors just in general for good TV shows,
good completion for you.
I need the arc. Yep.
Yep.
You need to complete it where I'm satisfied.
I feel that. I do feel that. All right, so your turn to cut first.
Okay, so just to recap, my final 3 then are The Wire, The Office, and Breaking Bad.
All right, so a comedy and 2 pretty intense ones.
Right. So, you're probably not going to be surprised. My next cut is The Wire.
The Wire. No, I figured that.
Yeah, so The Wire, excellent show, but again, I've only seen it once.
Yes.
I would like to see it again. I think it was well written. With The Wire, I liked how each season kind of focused on a different theme, but you still kept your characters.
Yes.
So, like, the first one was, like, the projects. The next one's, like, the loading docks and so on and so forth. Like, the media, the cops, like, different main focal points. I thought it was unique that they did that. A lot of good actors came from that show that I've seen in later shows that I like.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great storyline. I can't think of the main character's name. That poor detective, he went through a lot of stuff. Usually he causes his own trouble, but
yeah, but he was in the middle of a lot of shenanery.
Yeah, but it was an excellent show. But kind of going with your SVU stuff, even though I have one serious show left, there's a lot of seriousness in it, and I just don't know if it's something I can just keep watching over and over and over.
Yeah. All right, so your final 2 then?
My final 2 then, the championship for me is The Office versus Breaking Bad.
Okay, and now I'm down to SportsCenter, Cheers, and The Simpsons.
Oh. First of all, I like how we don't have any common shows left.
No, yeah. And for us, that's wild.
Yes, it is.
There's so much in common. But I think my game plan helped mix things up a little bit.
Well, it's brain versus heart in this one, I feel like.
My game plan. So, in this... So I thought I knew my championship game until this moment.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to have to cut The Simpsons.
Dope.
And I thought I was going to be in my championship game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to have 2 actives in my championship game.
Makes sense.
And SportsCenter that's my Cinderella team just trucking along. Because I thought about them last minute, so that's like my Cinderella
You're kind of going with your love of sports.
Yeah.
Which I get.
I got to keep that alive. But Simpsons is gone. And maybe they ran 32 seasons, 700 plus episodes, and more continuing. But
yeah. I love those Halloween episodes, by the way.
So I can say why The Simpsons made it so far, and we're one of the favorites to win.
Yeah.
Is it goes over the eras of life. So I thought that at least I could reflect back. On things. You know, like, I mean, I'm stuck on an island. And I thought, well, oh, yeah, remember that happened in the 90s? Oh, they're making fun of Michael Jackson. Oh, they're making fun of Donald Trump before he was president. Yeah. Oh, they predicted he was going to be president. They're da-da-da-da-da and so on. So just, it's like, it's era related.
Yeah.
So, you know, your first season's what, early 90s, late 80s, something like that?
Yeah, I think I want to say 88, 87 was the first came out.
Yeah, so, and they're not really into the... what do you call it? Current events as much then. It's kind of just more raw. But they get into a lot of current events over, you know, they spoof off of that a lot.
As it progressed.
Yeah, so I think that was kind of like, it would help me have some nostalgia. And I think nostalgia is good for anyone in life, but especially if you're on a desert island, something to keep your mind fresh.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to look at it, too.
Yeah, so that was why they made it so far for me, was this. It kind of bring me back to certain eras of life. And
we literally grew up with them.
Yeah, and I didn't have to watch it in order. I could watch. No. I'm like, I just want to watch season 10 for the 100th time in a row. Oh, wait a minute, I'll go back to 7 now.
Which, if it came out in 87, season 10 would be like 96, 97.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me because we're in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. So
then, with that being said, who's your championship? Just to recap.
My championship is Cheers versus SportsCenter.
Very interesting.
2 very different things from any, yeah.
Now, I will say I give you style points for SportsCenter because when I thought TV shows, I didn't even think anything sports. I'm like, all right, TV shows, like syndicated or scripted.
Yeah, no. And I just thought about that earlier today, and I was like, well, I wonder if that counts. And that's kind of what I brought up the rules to an extent, too. I was like, does this count? Basically,
does. It's a show.
like it's a show, and we just said
Yeah.
show. We didn't say sitcoms or categories or anything. We did that purposely so that it was more open, across all of our likes.
We may have to have spinoffs of this about like sitcoms or
Oh yeah, definitely
90s
have some
shows
spin-off.
or something.
And it won't even have to necessarily be a desert island thing. It can just be
just talking about.
yeah. Maybe we can actually do a favorites list of each category.
I just thought of 3 shows that we didn't even mention, by the way, that I'll mention before we end the podcast. That
Okay.
I was like, I didn't even think about that.
I thought
show.
about some too long just talking.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah. Okay, so now we're in the chip. I got SportsCenter and Cheers, and who's your chip?
Breaking Bad and The Office.
All right. So who wants to reveal first?
I'll go ahead and reveal first.
Okay.
Do you have a prediction?
I think it's The Office wins.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
All right. Drum roll. Breaking Bad.
Oh, wow.
The Office almost did it. And it was very hard for me because I can watch. I do watch The Office over and over and over. I still laugh. I think what, like I said, I went with heart, and what gave me the edge is The Office's downfall is Michael Scott not being the last two seasons.
I get that.
Breaking
I
Bad
didn't think about that.
had a perfect arc where, by the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to not listen to this part.
Mute.
But Breaking Bad, first of all, I remember being here with you when you saw the end of season 4 when Walt finally got to Gus and blew half his face off. And you looked at me and you're like, how can there be another season? Like, this is a perfect ending. Walt won.
Yeah.
Beat the bad guy, right? Well, the last part of it is he has a brother-in-law in the DEA.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the writing was beautifully done. It was flawless to me from beginning to end. They pulled stuff that they hinted at in the earlier seasons to the last seasons. You had to pay attention to things. I didn't catch things until watching it a third or fourth time, which that leads into I've watched that show multiple times and I still enjoy it.
True. I'm rewatching it myself right now.
Oh, okay.
So
I
just
just
started again.
did a couple months ago.
I'm somewhere in the middle of season 1, so it's pretty fresh.
Okay.
To just rewatching.
So to me, it's just, I know it's only 5 seasons. I know in that regard, it's not necessarily smart. But pure heart, I love that show.
Yeah.
With that being said, again, The Office, love that show.
Yeah.
But I had to pick a winner.
Yeah.
And technically, I can watch The Office over and over. Like, that's what I do now. Like, that's my getting dinner ready, or just maybe I'm just not in the mood to.
See, that's why I could say that's why, not to cut you off, but that's why The Office got cut for me earlier.
Right.
That's one of my favorite, but I multitask with it a lot now.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, I get very little again, and I'm like literally on a desert island. There's no multitasking. What am I do? Watch it while I'm like chopping coconuts off the tree to try to survive, or
Hunting.
Hunting, yeah, like so it's also my multitask. Like I watch a lot before work.
Yeah.
Like before my late shifts or whatever, because it's something I can watch quick.
Yeah.
And I can be on my phone doing other things, editing our podcast while doing it.
Right.
My multitask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, there's not gonna be a lot more. And I've watched a lot of it, and not that I would say I'm sick of it by any means, but on the same note, I am kind of over it. I think I need a break from it for a few years. So I'm not saying that I wouldn't want it then, but
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I've watched it so much that I don't even try to watch it in order anymore.
No,
I just hit play and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter.
That's kind of nice with it being off Netflix now, even though I have Peacock access, I just catch it. Like you said, I jump in when it's on Comedy Central as I'm getting ready for our stuff.
So,
watch Parks and Rec. Watch Parks and Rec.
That's why it wasn't on my list, because I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Like Parks and Rec. There's a few of them like that.
That'll be something fresh for you, and it still gives the same vibe. Like there's people like The Office versus Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Where they like both shows, but one's like, I like Parks more. I like The Office more.
Yeah.
So you'll like it. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, that's my winners. Breaking Bad, Walter White.
Which I'd say, yeah, I could agree with that. I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
That just went against my game plan of I need more seasons.
Yeah, which I mean, I totally understand your thought process.
So, all right, my chip to recap, my championships, Cheers versus SportsCenter. Do you have a prediction of mine?
I'm going to stick with Cheers.
Going with Cheers?
Yeah.
Drum roll. I picked SportsCenter.
Neither of us know each other.
Not at all. Haven't known you for 20 years. So, and I guess you could call it cheating because I'm getting my sports fix.
Yeah.
But I figure I'm not going to be able to watch sports. And the overwhelming reason, so you have 39 seasons.
Yeah.
Which is more than any of the other shows on here that I had.
Yeah.
You even want to guess how many episodes in those 39 seasons that I'd be able to watch?
12,182.
60,000.
Holy. Way off.
Yeah. And all my information's Wikipedia, just in case anybody has like
any arguments
or that's not true. It's Wikipedia.
Well, for SportsCenter, that's as of April 21st, 2021.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, like, he's off by 3. Well,
and I don't know the one my asterisk to that is I don't know if it counts those rerun episodes or not. You know how like sometimes once like the midnight one hits, it plays like 10 times.
Yes.
And it's pretty much the same one.
Yes.
I don't know if they were counting those or they're counting new episodes.
I'm assuming new episodes.
I'm assuming new too. But even if it was not that, just say it wasn't that, new would still have to be like 40K.
Oh yeah.
At least. So I mean, yeah, but I'm thinking it's new. I think it's new. I didn't really think of that till we were talking it out, but 60,000 episodes.
Well, isn't SportsCenter, at least in recent years, on every day?
Yeah.
So that's 50.
And new episodes for a while were on almost every hour.
So that's 365. Like, if there's just one a day, that's 365 times a
39.
year. Times 39.
Yeah.
I think that's all new episodes.
Yeah, so it's probably new, yeah.
And it's definitely a good choice because that's a ton of material to go through. So you'll get your sports fix. Obviously not current sports fix, but at least like I can watch some of that old sports stuff. Like last year when the shutdown first happened with COVID and there was no live, like no current sports, they re-aired one of the Lakers championship games with Kobe.
Yeah.
I was just as excited as I was when it was live. So I can see that working, and you got huge diversity.
And I'm thinking like, so they keep up on like current events as well. So that's why I took out the Simpsons.
Yeah.
That's why originally it was going to be Simpsons versus SportsCenter, but I was like, man, as I'm thinking about it, I almost will let Cheers win. Like, I almost
right.
As I keep talking to myself as we were going, I like to change my mind last minute, and I'm like, man, but I do love Cheers.
I know, that's why I thought Cheers. Like, part of me's like, he's going to do SportsCenter just to be like, haha, I found a way. Like,
my loophole, yeah.
But then I was like, I'm going to stick with Cheers, though. And then, no.
But no, I did, and a lot of it was, I think, got on my list for a loophole. But as I was actually like scratching stuff off, and the more and more I thought about it, I was like, man, I get to watch Stuart Scott again.
Yeah.
I get to watch when Dan Patrick was on ESPN.
Yeah.
Chris Berman in his early fucking years.
Well, he's on ESPN. Mike Greenberg, he's on ESPN, like on SportsCenter.
Yeah, there's all kinds, and there's SportsCenters, and I've missed so many episodes.
Oh, yeah.
You can watch it, and I'm thinking like, and it's my sports fix, and that was what I kept going back to too. I was like, it is cheating the system, but I could have picked anything I wanted. Yeah. We didn't say it couldn't be a sports show, so I was like...
You cheated the system legally.
Yeah. So I was like, I mean, obviously, naturally, we thought like sitcoms and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of asked, like, when I sent you the screenshot of the definition, I was like, is this cool? And you're like, yep. I'm like, all right, SportsCenter's on the list then.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if there was, like, in your head, you were thinking, oh, no, that's, blasphemous. That's not what I was talking about.
Not sports.
Not sports or documentaries or this or that. But I was like, well, I mean, I don't see why not. Like, if you chose, like, 60 minutes for whatever reason. I don't know.
I love that clock.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if you chose like 60 minutes for whatever reason, I wouldn't have been mad, you know? So to me, it's just like, it's a way for me to be in current events and like sports. So it kind of covers nostalgia. It covers my nostalgia, my current events of the time, my sports, and entertainment, because they had serious ones. They had, because like Kobe's death, that was clearly a serious week for them,
right?
And then they had their upbeat ones, their goofy ones. They have their local stuff.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of episodes. So I just feel like I could be entertained by that by like so long.
I think the real reason you chose it is so we can get sports into our podcast episode again.
And that could be it.
Our running theme. No, that's a good one though. So like, I guess we have our champions then. Like, I thought some random shows as we were talking. So, obviously, this is, like, honorable mention, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, like Entourage. That show was great.
Forgot all about that, yeah.
Yeah, me too, until we start talking about The Wire. Another one is, it's a new one, so it wouldn't have made it because it only has 2 seasons so far.
Yeah.
But my nerd side, The Mandalorian, I think is an excellent show. And then my random one was Roseanne.
Oh yeah, I thought about Roseanne. She was on the list.
Yeah.
The one I forget the name of the damn show because I don't really watch it, but the Bazinga thingy.
Oh, Big Bang
I
Theory.
thought that would be on your list, mainly because on our other podcast, Fourfold View,
Right.
you're at the posters behind you every day.
Which
and
is
and that's what I stare at when you're talking.
Which is funny because
I'm not listening to a word you say. All I'm doing is staring at that poster pointing at me.
it's not even like it. I watched it and I thought it was a funny show, but it's not even like on my top shows. It's just a poster that my brother randomly got me. And I'm like, okay, I'll put it up in here. And now it's my office. So
yeah, so it's behind you. You're seeing it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's funny because
I thought it might be one of your wild cards.
Yeah, no, it did cross my mind because it was a show that I caught on to late. I remember seeing commercials for it all the time during football because it was on CBS.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not watching this, but then
and I've watched enough of it where it's like that's pretty cool. But
I thought it was funny because it's like smart nerds trying to go after hot girls, and I'm a not so smart nerd trying to go after hot girls, so I can relate,
Yeah. So my other ones though, let me rattle a couple off. Fresh Prince.
Oh
man,
damn it! Yes,
I know. And then Martin.
Okay.
If you're thinking that, I had some others I forget now. The whole like TGI Friday line.
Oh, like Urkel,
Step by
Step.
Yeah, Family Matters is what it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Family Matters. Full House. Boy Meets World. I could watch that one.
Bentley, stop.
And he has his own shows. I think he said Lassie.
Lassie was actually on the most episodes list.
Was it?
Oddly enough, yeah. But that didn't make my final 14 cut.
Yeah.
Because I did it. I could have added, and I started thinking about like Fresh Princes and stuff, but I was like, no, they're probably not going to make the top 10, and I'm already at 14. So I need to stop adding to the list.
Like Fresh Prince, it's a show that seems like it was on for a long time. It wasn't on that many seasons, really.
No.
In the grand scheme of things.
We got to understand, too, back then we weren't streaming. It was weekly shows.
Yes.
So, and then reruns when you could. But, weekly shows, it was still, like you said, 7 seasons, but that's 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying 7 seasons isn't 7 years now, but it isn't for, Breaking Bad that we watch streaming.
Oh, we're spoiled with that.
I didn't watch that with the show.
I mean, all the shows that made my finals, like my final 4, final 5, I streamed all of that.
Yeah.
I think, actually, partial lie, I streamed all of Game of Thrones until I caught up to the last, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3. But I still started as a streaming. Whereas The Office, I never watched it when it was on. Breaking Bad, I watched it technically when it was on, but by the time I caught up,
you watched the first season while the last season was ending.
Bingo.
Yep.
So in The Wire, obviously, Sopranos. That was all. They were all done.
All streaming stuff. Yeah.
So I'm spoiled here. Restream this.
Yep. So it is hard though. One show though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's super hard to do.
And you probably are better off because it's more diverse. And you have a lot more. And much as I've watched Breaking Bad and love Breaking Bad, if I live for 30 more years and that's all I watch, maybe I'll try to learn how to cook blue meth. I don't know.
Yeah. And what's good about rewatching shows like that though, and that's why I was thinking sitcoms. See, that's the thing. So going back to Office Cut, is I've already gotten to the point where I'm looking at background stuff and thinking Office trivia style.
Yes.
So I'm I wonder what that poster's for. I'm oh, I see that they actually had a Homer or Bart. I want to say it was Homer, stuffed animal in the background of one of them.
I can't remember which one either, but I remember seeing
those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just little Easter eggs, if you will, they call them.
I was about to say the Easter eggs is what TV shows love doing now.
I do. I did think about that just because I was well, once I get bored with the show, I can start looking at Easter eggs and all this other stuff, and just make a game out of it to an extent.
We're trying to figure out, oh, damn, that because like I said, especially current or newer shows, they like to tie that stuff in. Breaking Bad had, I told you, there's ones I didn't notice until seasons or viewings after.
Yeah.
There's one where Yul pickpockets Jesse. I knew he did because they admit it later on. Yeah. I never saw it, and then I looked for it, and I see it clear as day now. I'm
okay.
Wow, okay, slick.
See, I like stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So if you go true watching a show wise, Breaking Bad's a good one. I guess if quickly on my list, if I had to not do SportsCenter and do a regular style show out of the ones I had, I would say Cheers probably would have won, obviously because they're in my chip. But I think if I'm not basing off seasons or episodes at all, just going straight heart, I think it would be my top 3 at least would have been Breaking Bad, Office, Cheers, and then probably NCIS would have been my final four.
Okay, so that's where we are more similar then.
Yeah.
If you go,
If I went hard, I
Pure
would have been
heart.
closer with you. Yeah.
yeah,
I would have been closer with you, but when I started going otherwise, and actually Bonanza, that wasn't on there just because of the episodes. I actually enjoyed that show,
right,
and I haven't watched it like all the way through. Obviously,
right,
you know, I've just watched reruns just whenever.
yeah,
But I would like to watch that show at some point, like regular style, like find it and watch it from season 1.
stream style
Yeah,
with the old show.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I would like to actually watch that show.
Well, I know we talked about it recently too. I wish there's a streaming with all these streaming apps. Have a streaming app with like almost like a TV Land or TV Classics, where it's nothing newer than like 1992 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I want to find like I know I was telling you. I want to find one where it has all these 80s shows. Like I want to watch Who's the Boss, The Night Court, Growing Pains, like shows I watched as a child, like pre TGIF for me because I'm old.
Yeah,
I want to see that. 'Cause I remember as a kid, like my parents, mainly my dad and my grandparents, would watch their old shows like I Love Lucy, Andy Griffith. Like I want something like that on a streaming, but with our shows me and you grew up on.
yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
Which I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure
it is. It has to be.
I'm sure TV Land will have one or something.
Either that or to do a complete left turn with how sensitive things are these days. They're probably like, these shows were so insensitive.
Oh yeah, we can't play those.
Yeah. I could see that too. I'm like, oh my gosh, come on.
Yeah, and also it's hard too because like streaming, at least when you go to super old school like Andy Griffith style,
Yeah,
the market for it's not as big.
true.
But I can also see that being why it's a little more loose on the regulations though, of like NBC and saying, well, no, Andy Griffith was my show, and I don't know who that was, where it was on originally, but you got what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
you know, NBC, oh, we're not giving the rights up to that. I could see them giving up the rights and like TV Land being able to have an old ABC show, an old NBC show, some CBS's, because I don't think they'll care about those as much. Like NBC's not like, oh, I have to have MASH or whatever on my
Which,
or whoever it was.
That's a classic too.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
not
just
my
trying
list,
to think
but
I'm trying to think of old ones that I think maybe they would give up on.
yeah,
That
I
they-
can see that. It's
they
smaller,
like-
smaller demographic.
Yeah, smaller demographic for, you know, people like us that are just intrigued by it, or like just older people in general that are probably not going to stream anything ever anyway.
I'll say, yeah, not to
They're still just watching cable.
be
so.
ageist, but a lot of them just don't know.
Yeah, they're just
how-
going to watch actual TV Land on cable.
Right. I
you know,
can't find my
and-
program.
Yeah, and just be fine with it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's just my thought process. Though I did, like I said, I had my game plan. I kind of stuck to it,
Yep.
and I'm not mad at it. I mean, if you literally, it's definitely in the top 5 or 10, probably top 8,
Yeah.
Elite 8 at minimum. I mean, it's just at a glance, and my list doesn't even have all the shows I'd want to have on the list
Right.
if it's really coming down to it.
And if it really came down to it, if you got thrown to an island and it was any of those shows or another show, you'll make it work.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's the
Yeah.
that's the flip side. Like,
Yeah, I'd make it work. But to me, it's a Sports Center, man. I wouldn't get bored with it. I'd get my sports fixed. And
to piggyback on your Sports Center real quick before we wrap it up,
yeah.
another idea, spin-off idea would be cool, would be 30 for 30.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you get the story aspect with
That's
the
true.
sports, with the documentation.
I could have picked that show. Yeah, that'd have been a good show.
That's not that.
No, that's not bad.
Because the Michael Jordan show itself was that 10 episodes?
Yeah. That's
So-
true. No, you're right. I didn't think about that. Documentary style.
Yeah. And you cover your nostalgia and your sports and
True.
blah, blah, blah.
True.
Just want to say that.
No, that's a good point. But
But-
maybe we can do a sports show episode one day.
Yeah.
So,
We got
all right.
plenty of ideas.
All right. Well, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
You done?
Yeah. Are you done? Like some of these TV shows?
Yeah, I think we're done.
All right.
All right, brother.
Later.